Let's talk about artificial nutrition and hydration. When someone is unable to chew or swallow, nutrition can be provided through a tube. Often at the end of life, we actually lose the ability to swallow. And this is something that causes a lot of distress. And so then people want to keep somebody alive by making sure that they have adequate nutrition. And that's when we administer artificial nutrition and hydration, just to make sure that they don't get dehydrated. This usually comes in via a tube that can be surgically inserted. Sometimes it's provided intravenously using a needle, and sometimes it's a tube that goes directly into the stomach through the nose. When we want it and when we don't want it is actually something to think about. You definitely want artificial nutrition as a short-term support for somebody who needs to recover from surgery, from serious illness or injury, that sort of situation where it's short-term and somebody is expected to recover. Then artificial nutrition is really important and necessary and desirable. At the end of life, though, the body starts to naturally shut down certain functions. Artificial nutrition is not expected to restore a healthy state. It's not going to stop the body from shutting down. And it actually may just simply extend the length of somebody's life without adding any meaningful, better quality of life. So it'll just prevent the body's natural processes of shutting down and keeping them alive artificially through this kind of hydration, where otherwise they might be allowed to just have a more natural death. Artificial nutrition also carries some risks that I think we don't really think about too often. A lot of it is just related to the process of administering it. So a surgical tube or an IV needle has an increased risk of infections at the insertion site, which is particularly notable if somebody is frail and their immune system is not working properly. Any level of infection risk is actually something to be paying attention to. Also, a nasal risk can increase a risk of pneumonia, and that can be quite distressing. Even more distressing to the person who's receiving artificial nutrition is the nasal tube. It can be really annoying to have a tube up your nose all the time, and you can actually feel it going down your throat, and it can make that person really agitated. They're more likely to like fuss with it, to maybe pull out the tube, and this is particularly distressing for somebody with diminished cognitive abilities. So if somebody has dementia, it's really hard to explain to them why it is that they have this tube up their nose. And that is very annoying. And it's also very distressing to have to keep batting their hands away from trying to remove it or keep trying to reinsert it. And it can actually be quite agitating to everybody involved, honestly. So the process of administering artificial nutrition is something that we really want to think about, and removing it is one of the hardest decisions that anybody can make. Sometimes we just need to make a decision not to put it in the first place, because that will help to relieve the burden of trying to decide when to remove it. That said, if the nutrition is being provided in a situation where somebody is not expected to recover and it's simply there to just keep them going and their body is in the process of already shutting down because they're actively dying, well then that's when we want to really think about what we're trying to achieve. It may be much, much kinder to allow somebody to die more naturally, to allow the body to continue its process of shutting down by removing the artificial nutrition and hydration, and then just letting the body do its own thing and shut down in a more gentle process.